Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the webinar, Harnessing AI's Potential Within Web Design. My name is Dylan Bradley, and I am a web designer, and I'm going to be taking you through how you can utilize AI tools within the design space, making your life a little bit easier. Just an introduction to AI in design. Over the last year, AI has obviously become, this huge thing. People are becoming more and more reliant on it. The design space is slowly but surely getting the tools that it needs to kind of help people, and we're going to be looking at a few of those today. Again, there is this stigma going around and people saying that AI is going to take your job and things like that, but I feel like people need to use AI with what they do more than rely on it to do everything for them, especially in design. I think design always kind of needs that human touch to it, just to make it feel personal to either the brand or kind of whatever company it is that they're working within. So just a fun fact about web design, over 92% of the internet searches are all now completed on mobile. So just shows how important it is to make sure your website's responsive, and make sure that any images that are created for the web are making you want to be able to see those on mobile as well. So you don't want this massive wide image that you won't see in mobile unless you turn it landscape. You want to make sure that everything is accessible to someone on smaller screens. More importantly now, more than ever, that you could risk having a very poor design on your web version or on your desktop version and ensuring that the design is 100% on mobile, because as you can see, 92% is all on mobile. Again, you want to look good on both, especially for SEO purposes and things like that, but you definitely do want mobile to look good. So just some learning objectives today. We're going to look at using AIs to create a company name. So just it's going to be like a demo company we're going to use today. So we have something to work against when creating branding using AI. Then we're going to apply that branding to digital assets. We're going to use an application called 10Web to create a website kind of layout / design. And then we're going to look at enhancing graphics using AI tools. So just jumping into it, the first thing we're going to kind of look at is obviously the branding, creating the branding for the company. So we're going to look at the colors, we're going to look at the kind of the fonts we're going to use, we're going to look at creating a logo, we're going to look at designing the website using 10Web, and then we're going to look at some marketing materials, and kind of how you can create marketing materials using the likes of Canva and Photoshop. So let's just jump straight into it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into Chat GPT. If you don't know what Chat GPT is, it's basically the best AI tool that's out there at the minute. It's a very textual tool, so most of the features within it is output and content. It does have new features, which are the likes of plugins. So there's various plugins available for it that you can go in and use. I haven't really utilized this of yet, and it also does have an image generator called DALL-E. So it does have at least one design feature that's defaulted into it. But today we're going to just give it a prompt and we're going to see what it comes back with. So just for demo purposes, we're going to say to it, can you create me a company name and branding recommendations for it? The company is going to be a web design. So I'm just going to say, can you create a company name? And so you wanted to give you the company name and any branding recommendations it has for it. So logo design, fonts, and color palette. Or, well, let's just do color scheme actually, just so it understands a bit better. So hopefully this will give us exactly what we want. The problem is with AI, I feel like that's the stage where it is always kind of giving you a different answer. I feel like it always wants to be unique. Sometimes in giving you a different answer, it actually can be a little bit, not wrong, but there's better answers. So always just, maybe ask it to do it a couple of times just to see the different outputs it gives you. Obviously today is an unrealistic circumstance. You're probably not going to go into Chat GPT and ask it to create you a company name and stuff, but just so we have something to work on today and work off, we're going to get it to give us a name, give us a concept for color scheme and logo design, and then we're going to go and try and recreate all this in AI. So you'll see it has popped out some names. So it has Pixel Pioneer Web Solutions. I feel like this is, again, a bit long. You don't want something as long as this as a name. Webcrafter Studio, I quite like this one. Design Forge Interactive, I feel like, again, these three here are very long. So I think we'll go with Webcrafter Studio. So we'll start with that today, and we'll kind of work on that one. So there's a logo design. So it won't output a logo unless you ask it to. It's just kind of giving us a description for the concept. So you'll see modern logo that combines stylage W for web with visual elements representing creativity and digital design such as pixel or brushstroke. So, that to me, that sounds very basic. It sounds very, it's very original. And there's probably a good few logos out there like that. So it's saying for colors to do a mix of blue, which represents professionalism and trust, and green symbolizing creativity and growth. So I quite like that. I don't think using both of them at the same time. I think we will use blue, but I think blue and green, you could have some accessibility issues with that. So again, always just double check what Chat GPT is given to you. And then style, so clean, modern. You'll see, just pick out the keywords here, clean and modern, and just so it gives us kind of distinct thing about it. And keep, again, you want your logo to be unique. So that's what it's given us. And then it's given us primary font is a sans serif. So it's going for the modern thing. And then it's going for, so Merriweather or Laura for a secondary font. Again, there's no need to do, you don't need two different fonts for your brand. It's nice sometimes just to have that differentiate between your headers and your body text on the likes of your website and your social graphics, but it's not necessary. And here it has actually give us the color scheme for the brand. So you'll see it has actually give us the hex code for it, which we can have a look at. And it's also give us secondary colors and an accent color as well. So, and it also has branding recommendations, which we're not really going to look at. We've got what we need. So we're going to use Webcrafter Studio. And we're going to jump in and see if we can get the brand colors. So I'm just going to copy this blue. This is the blue it's telling us to use. And we're going to go into our first tool, which is called aicolors.co. And what this is basically something you can visualize a set of colors on, and more particularly a color palette. So you want every sort of color that's going to be available to you, and you want to show it on here. This is a good tool because it does actually have different options of views. So you can have a mobile app to see how you sometimes certain colors look a lot on smaller screens. So just so you can see it on smaller screens, and also here's the landing page of a website, just to kind of give you a good visual representation of how the colors look. So we'll look at the landing page just to see what we can do. So what we can do from here is we can actually type in a prompt. Now with colors, I feel like it's not just quite there yet with getting them right, but you can definitely enter a prompt into it. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to enter in the hex code and see what it does. Again, AI is very unpredictable, so it's hard to know. So okay, so I put in the color. You'll see it has actually put the background as that color, which is fine. I think this looks okay, and you'll see it has accented it with a lighter blue, which I think actually goes really well. And then it has another accent color, so it has an orange for the likes of this sort of thing. Wherever you maybe don't want to use the blue, you can use that. So I think this looks reasonably okay. I don't think there's a problem with this at all. If you're not happy with how it's outputting or what it's kind of giving you, you do have the option to go into the options that are already preloaded. So if I click up here to new and click in, you'll see there's loads of different options. And these are already pre-generated, and they're based on how many people are liking them. So normally these are the best color combinations. This is where I would actually, if I was creating my own brand, I would stick to these ones just because how good they actually do look, and how relevant they are. They're taking into account the popular colors on the market and things like that. So you can click through these and you can kind of see, okay, which ones I like, which ones you don't like, that sort of thing. So here's one here. Like, I really like this. I think this is nice and clean. It's kind of combining blue and purple, which I think is a good combination. It's very modern. A lot of brands are using purple nowadays, so I think this is actually a really nice one. And you can also click in here and you can go to the top one. So it actually is filtering it from most popular to least popular. So this one here is actually the most popular. And then there is, you'll see, just scroll down the list. And there's loads of different ones. So this one looks good as well. Again, just sticking to that blue theme. This one's a little bit dark. And then this is the one that we were looking at just a bit ago. So what you can do from here is you can actually come down and you can see all the different colors, and you can copy the hex code and paste them into whatever you're creating. That might be your website, anything like that. There is also an export button. This is for you to paste into your website directly. And you can also save this color and come back to it later on if you need to. If you create an account and save it, you can come back. You can edit the colors. So if there's something on here you're not really a fan of, you can come in and you can edit them. If you wanted to change the background to maybe a darker color, you can do that. There's loads of different options with that. It's kind of whatever way you want it to be, whatever way you want your brand to look. And again, as I said before, you can kind of come through the views and see, that looks really good on mobile, looks really professional, modern, which is exactly what Chat GPT was telling us. So from here, once we've got our color palette, should I say, which we'll keep, we want to create a font set. So this is another AI tool that's available. And again, there is a few of them. This is just one called Page GPT. And what you can do is you come in here and you can put in your company name, which we're going to go back to Chat GPT and we're going to put in Webcrafter Studio like this. And you can put in website mood and style. So this is where we're going to want to put modern and let's see, simplistic like that. And then you can also put a sample paragraph. So this is optional. So this is where you could put in like a tagline or your motto or something like that. It just kind of gives it more of an idea on what exactly is you want and what suits your brand. For today, we're just going to leave this out and see what it comes up with. And that's all you do is hit generate. Now this does take a little second. Again, as I mentioned before, sometimes it can output things that are maybe not right, and maybe something, it's not exactly what you're wanting. But the good thing, especially with this one, is it does give you options. So it's already, it's done it. And it has give us Nodo Sans and Mule. So I actually think these fonts look really good together. You'll see that there's these are two different with the bold and then the body text. I think this looks pretty reasonable. Let's just see what else they have. So there's Poppins and Quicksand. So Poppins is one of my favorite fonts. And I think these look good as well. So again, that's good. Not really a fan of that one. This is a complete personal preference, or at least preference to whoever you're designing this for. So this is the good thing about it. It does have lots of different options that you can click through. If you're not happy with any of those, you can just change the website mood and style. So if I wanted to be fun and like childish, so say you were designing a kind of a children's website, something maybe, like educational, something like that, this is where you can put in, like, you want it to look fun, you want it to be maybe colorful, things like that, and see what it comes up with. So you'll see, so it's added in this staggered font. It doesn't look that great. You can kind of see this one. I can definitely see where it's going. It's fun looking. It's a little bit hard to read, so you always want to take into account that. But there is kind of a few different options with it. But you can see how changing two words here can change how different the font output is. So always just take into consideration that. So we'll just go back and we'll just type in modern, and we will take one of the ones that it gives us. And from here, we have our color and we have our font. So we can actually go and begin to create the likes of our website or our social graphics using these types of things. So I think this one's one of the nicest ones here that it's produced, Oswald and Roboto. Now we might not be able to get Oswald on certain applications, but we can definitely try. So moving on from here, what's next? We need a logo. You can create everything, but you need a logo for it. If you have a website, along the top bar, just like here, you'll have the logo here, you'll have it in the middle. So you definitely want to have a logo somewhere in here. So what we'll do is we'll click into our next application, and it is called Logo AI. Now, I know I have mentioned before that AI is definitely unbelievably good, but it does have its limitations. I do think with logos, it is where the limitations start to draw in, just because of how unique logos have to be and how detailed logos have to be. Sometimes AI just doesn't get it. There isn't that many tools, especially free ones, out there at the minute that are, I would say are really, really good at creating logos. What I would say is they're very, very good at giving you ideas for them. So if you go in and you have absolutely no idea what you want, this is the type of application that you can go into, be like, okay, I like that sort of idea, I like that icon, I like that combination, things like that. So this is what we're going to do. So again, we're going to put in our logo name. This is our company name, and we're just going to type into our slogan. We're just going to do web design agency, just like that, just to kind of give it more information, because as I said, it's not the greatest at understanding, so the more information you give it, the better. Once you do that, then you're going to want to put in your industry. So it does have lots of different categories for it. So we're going to look for something. So internet, we're going to put internet because that's exactly what we are. So color schemes, what color scheme do we want? Do you want something warm, cold, contrast, pastel, grayscale, or a gradient? For the colors we kind of generated here, we're going to basically pick cold. And cold, I know it sounds bad, but it's really not that bad. It's just descriptive of the kind of the blues that we've used, and the kind of the message we're going for with our color scheme. So we'll click on blue and we'll hit continue. And then this allows us to put our font styles. So we've obviously put in modern into our font generator. So we'll want to choose modern again, but you can choose multiple. So modern, I'm actually going to stick with modern just because these ones are also very different. And we want to try and stick with the same sort of theme that we've generated right here. So we will hit generate, and this will create logos for us, and it allows us to change color and symbols and stuff within it. So you'll see some of them are maybe pretty basic, some of them might be better than others. It's just completely up to you what type of thing you like. If you're looking something very easy and very quick, this is definitely where you want to come in and get it. So we'll just look through and we'll see. So let's see if there's any that kind of stand out. So this one I think is quite good, just because we put in Webcrafters Studio, whereas you might be better just with Webcrafters, but we'll give it a challenge. I think this one looks really good. I also think this one looks good. Maybe not the icons, just because the color palette's a little bit different, but I think the way that they've put the text below it, I think looks really good. Even this one is exactly the same. You can generate a lot more, so you can just keep going pretty much and it will generate it. If you want any of these, you do have to pay for them. Most of the logo AI generators you do have to pay for, unfortunately. But again, if you were comparing, paying for an AI tool versus paying maybe personnel to do it for you, you're going to see a big cost savings with that. So once you're kind of happy with it, you can go in, you can pay for it. If you're not happy with any of them, but you like, say you like this here, you like the way that this has, this box around the studio, and you're like, okay, I like that. You can go off to Photoshop yourself, or you can even go and pay somebody to create something like this. It's easier especially I know from personal experience, if somebody comes looking for a logo, it's a lot easier for me to do it if they tell me, okay, I like this type of thing. And they can kind of screenshot these and send them over to you. So this is definitely a very good tool. And as I said, it is free to use. Just to get the ideas, you have to pay for them if you want to export them and things like that. So now we have basically our full brand set up. We have our company name, we have our color generator, or we have our color palette, through the AI generator, and we have our fonts and logo. So what we're going to want to do now is we'll jump back and we'll just see where we're at. So we've done, as I said, colors, logo, and our full brand pretty much. So from here, what we can do is we can look at using a AI website design tool called 10Web. So again, it is pretty new, so there's a lot of adjustments to be made, a lot of improvements to be made within it. But I do think 10Web is probably one of the best ones. There is a few alternatives to 10Web. There's also Wix, and Wix has a new AI tool built into it that basically creates a full website for you without having to do anything. I think it is very, very good. I think it has its limitations. I do think 10Web is just a little bit better than Wix. I think Wix is still a bit basic, but again, Wix is very new. So we will be looking at 10Web today, and we're going to be setting it up from scratch just to showcase as much as possible to you. So we'll jump back to our browser and we will click into 10Web. So when you set up an account, this is the first thing you're going to see. So you have a few options. You can create a new website with AI. You can convert a website to WordPress with AI. You can migrate WordPress hosting to 10Web, and you can optimize a website. So today we're going to be creating a new website with AI. That's what we're trying to showcase. So we'll click in this one. Just like the logo maker and pretty much any other AI tools we've used today, it will ask you for prompts. So what type of website it is you're looking, and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an informational website because we want to get our brand across and get the information out there. So it comes up straight away. I don't think there's going to be website design. So we'll just do website designer, just like that. I'll choose next. Obviously do English. I'll put in my name. And you can see you put in a bit about yourself. So we're basically telling 10Web what, just information on me. So we want to put in, I am a web designer trying to utilize AI tools within my company, called like that. And as you can see, you can actually enhance this with AI. So nice feature to have in there, but we'll take that and we'll move on with it. Three main services. So this is it building the website for you. So most websites that are informational will have either services or products, or it'll have some sort of information on it. So it's basically put in generated one. So AI powered design, website optimization. Again, it's always going to be American spelling, so always make sure of that. And digital strategy consultant. So I think these are pretty good. So we'll hit next on that. 3 skills. So AI integration, UI UX design, front end development. I think it's done a really good job of actually filling these in for us. If they're not what exactly you want, you can simply go in and change them. No problem with that. And we'll hit finalize. So this will take just a little bit, but this, again, a bit like the logo, is where you can create something and be like, okay, I like this area, I don't really like this area, I think it could improve here, and kind of gives you an understanding of exactly what you are wanting. Now 10Web is a paid software. Once you sign up, you kind of get your first layer, your first generate for free, which we're going to see now, but normally it is a paid thing. So if you want to kind of get a good idea, do exactly what I'm doing and utilize the kind of the free area you have of it. Have a look and see if you like any of it. If you do like it, it's worth paying for it. It's pretty cheap, especially for one site and for personal use. And the actual page builder within it is very powerful. So it's kind of replacing the likes of Wix that I've mentioned, Elementor, even Shopify and different things like that. So it is very, very, very good. Okay, let's see. So we'll preview once it's done it. I'll open up a new tab for us. So you'll see that it has actually created a full website for us. And it's going to keep popping up looking me to buy it, but we're just going to keep hitting next for it now. So you'll see it hasn't put in a logo because we haven't given it a logo. We can change the color palette. So we can do ocean. You remember at the start, it did tell us to do green and blue, but you can actually simply, by a click of a button, choose different color palettes. So we're obviously going to go with the blue that we originally picked before. You can go in, once you pay for it, you can go in and change the actual hex codes and stuff to get exactly what was outputted here. So this is where you come into your color generator and copy this and paste it into 10Web, just as simple as that. So definitely useful, but we won't be able to showcase that now because we don't have the paid version. It's actually generated an image. This is definitely an AI generated image, and it's obviously taking your stereotypical kind of man in suit that designs websites, and this is what it's come out with, which again is very impressive. Again, it just shows how far it's coming along. Eventually, you'll probably be able to put in a picture of yourself, and it will optimize it for suit it to more of a professional manner, like this one. So you'll see it has put in content, web crafter studio, innovation meets design. It's kind of given that like bio. It's added call to actions in relevant places. So you always want a call to action up here. It's added an about me section. If we're creating a company website, it's obviously going to be about us and that sort of terminology. But we'll just pretend that we're creating something personal. You'll see, it has completely generated everything. It's there. This is the services that we typed in before. So website optimization, digital strategy consultant, and AI powered design. And again, it has put images in relevant to those services, which is good. If you were doing this from scratch, from the likes of an Elementor website, you would either have to go get these created, maybe pay for an image generation software or something like that to get them to actually work or to get something on there. So it's really good that it has this already built in. I think anyway, it's even added in the likes of work experience. So it asks kind of a bit about me, what my skills is. So AI integration, UI, UX design, and front end development. So from me filling in 3 or 4 prompts, it's pretty much packed a full homepage up straight away, which I think is severely impressive. It also has portfolio, so you'll see it's even interactive. You can put in a portfolio. These are obviously, so I can tell just by looking on how the text. So you'll see the way the text is. This is how you can kind of tell that it's an AI generated image, because AI is not very good at generating text on the images. It kind of comes up with this gibberish. So always be careful with images like that. The best AI generated images are ones that are more stock and plain images, and then you put your own text on top of them. So just always be careful for that. And then it's even created testimonials here for us as well, which is obviously made up, and it's taken in my name and everything. So you can see how impressive something as simple as me filling in 3 to 4 prompts is. Could it be better? Absolutely. There's definitely room for improvement, but we must remember that especially with web design and structure layouts and things like that, it is only very new. It also did create us an about page, just like this. So it's pretty much the same content that's on the homepage. Portfolio page, which is probably something similar. Yeah. So again, I think this actually looks really good. There's a few color issues. You'll see that's kind of like a yellow there. You want to fix that, maybe make that blue. There's also a few alignment issues, which would be very easily fixed. I have used the paid version of it, and when you generate through AI and you then want to go and change the small things like the alignments or colors or anything like that, it is actually very, very easy to change, and it's very user friendly. So definitely, there's a lot of limitations, but it's very easy to use. It's very quick to use, and it's very cost effective. So if this is right for you, if this is the type of level you're needing, something simple, just something to get you out there, get your website online, you can do it. And it does have other features like converting to WordPress and vice versa, and even optimizing websites and stuff like that. So that would be the likes of optimizing your content for SEO, even things like speed, and ensuring your images are the right size and etc. So it does come with a lot of features. It's definitely worth the money if you do want to look into it. It's called 10Web, and here are the prices for it. So if it's something only you just want one website, a simple website, you can get it for £10 a month, so $120 a year. So it's not very much at all. And then there is obviously the more premium versions, which you get more words with, more storage and things like that. So just always make sure and look for the different features. So with that, we now have, in our demo, we have got our company name, we've got our full brand, we've even got a website, and it's only taken us roughly 30 minutes to get all that. Now, given that it's not a finished product, and the logo we got was only only an idea, it's still not finished, but in 30 minutes, it's more impressive than, if somebody said to you, I can build you a website in 2 days, you'd be like, nah, there's no way you could do that. This gives us the opportunity to be able to build websites in minutes. And as much as it's not finished, it's, as I said to you before, it's very user friendly to go in and change multiple things to suit exactly what it is you're needing to do. Especially with the 10Web more than the rest of them. Again, it's just more about prompts. I think the best way to do it is always use Chat GPT to get your prompts for your images. We're going to look at another application now called Leonardo, and it generates it generates images based on a prompt, but the prompt is very important because it gives very detailed images out. It's probably one of the best image generation tools available on the market. Again, it is a paid one, but we're going to be having a look today to see what we can get. So this is Leonardo, and there's a few different features within it. Today we're going to be looking at image generation, and that basically is just simply going in and typing in a prompt, and it will give us an image back out. So I've kind of got one from earlier on. So I've taken in an image that we have within Profile Tree. And the image is basically an office with our placard right here with our logo on it. And as you can see, it has recreated it in quite a good way. It's, as I mentioned before, the text is always the problem with it. You'll see it's completely put in gibberish text. But, you know, this wouldn't be that hard to Photoshop and put in, you know, our actual logo and stuff like that. So you can, you know, use an actual image as a prompt. So if you have an image and you want to recreate it or modernize it or make it like cartoony or something like that, you can simply come in here and put in the image, and you can you know, you can get an output. So just to give you a bit of a walkthrough on how it works, on the left hand side you have different options for dimensions, how many images you are generating. The more images you generate, the more credits it takes per one. So you'll see when I change this down up here to the right hand side, it's cost me 3 tokens. If I make this one image, it's only going to cost me 1 token. I always recommend doing 3 or 4, just because I feel like it doesn't get it right if you just do 1, and you'll just be wasting time waiting on it generating every single time. So I would always recommend doing 4 or 3 at the least. You can change obviously the image dimensions, you can change the ratios, you can actually customize the width and the height to whatever you need it to be. There's loads of different you know, loads of different options with that. There is also prompt generation. So if you wanted to get a prompt for something, so this would be in replace of Chat GPT. Instead of you going in and getting a prompt directly from it, you can actually get a prompt from Leonardo, which I still prefer Chat GPT for it, but it's completely up to you. I think that Chat GPT is just very descriptive, and I think it understands more of what exactly it is you need. So again, it's completely up to you what way you want to do it. Leonardo has different models and stuff for creating images. I always just use this one, but you know, there's new ones coming out every single day, so just always keep an eye on it. And there is also the option for adding a negative prompt. So what we'll do is we will delete this, and we're going to try a new prompt. And what we'll do is we will say, create me an image. So let's see, create me an image, and we'll do, you know what we'll do? We'll go in here and we'll type in the Chat GPT, can you create me a prompt for an AI image generator tool to get me what my office would look like. Modern, looking out onto the park, something like that. So, oh, it doesn't like that. Let's try that again. So we're trying to get an image basically to look. So you'll see, yeah, this is where it's very descriptive, very, very descriptive. This one actually might be too descriptive, but let's see. Let's see how it does. Okay, so we'll just simply copy this. We'll go to Leonardo. We'll put it in like that. So again, I think with something this side, it might get a little bit confused, but let's give it a go and see what it does. So we'll hit generate. Normally it is pretty quick as well for how detailed the images are. Like this tool is very, very impressive. So I actually think that's done a really, really good job of it. You know, it's kind of understood looking out onto the park. You can see the trees outside the windows. There's loads of trees in it. So if you were kind of going for that, you know, eco-friendly type thing, you know, there's lots of green in these pictures, and you know, like this, like to me, this is really impressive. you know, the details and even like the light and things like that. Like it all looks really, really good. So this is just an example of one of the many tools that there is available for this type of thing. Again, there's limitless options with it. You can type in absolutely anything in here. So if I wanted to maybe go in and let's just ask it, let's just see, can you create me a prompt to get me a logo created for my company in question? So we'll try and get it to give us a prompt to create the logo that it kind of created up here in text. And see, okay, so this is actually good timing, because this is what we're about to jump to. Instead of Chat GPT giving me a prompt to go and put it into a different application, it has taken this like, nope, you're not going anywhere. We're going to do this for you. So it's going to create me a logo for the company that the Chat GPT created above for us. And we'll see what it gives us. So you can see how good Chat GPT is even at doing this. You know, like this looks really, really good. It's maybe a little bit too detailed for a logo. It might come across a little bit like too much, but you can definitely see the W in there. You can see the design sort of creative aspect of it, and it's a really structured, a really well structured logo. So this is great. It looks good. We can, you know, we could definitely use that. Problem we have with ChatGPT is it only exports it in PNG. So there would be no way for me to export this and put it into Illustrator and change it and edit colors and things like that without me actually going and retracing it. Again, it's a first world problem, but it has saved us a mountain of time. So say we did like this, we could simply, you know, go to a designer and say, okay, I like this exact thing, recreate it. And the amount of man hours to recreate this would not take anywhere near as long as it would if the designer didn't have a clue what you were wanting. So just again, using the tools to reduce the time to you know, to create your brand and create your, you know, your kind of your logos and things like that. This is just an example of how you can do it. So if you just put in, I don't like that, give me something else, you can simply put in, it'll give you something else. ChatGPT is a little bit longer in terms of how long it takes to generate, but again, it can't really be faulted when it's outputting images like that. So you can use ChatGPT for even different images, like the one I've just typed in here. It doesn't have to be just specific logos. You can pretty much type anything in, and it's pretty much the same as this. So you do have a few options with using that, which is good. And let's just see what it's going to give us. So, okay, this one, it has went a little bit wayward. What it's done is it's created, okay, so it's give us a W here for web, but it hasn't. Okay, so let's see, because it gave us multiple names. So let's just go back, create me one for this name. You can see, you know, it's obviously picked up that I want this Pixel Pioneer one, but it doesn't. I don't. So again, this is still a really good logo. Just to demonstrate to you, this is still a really good logo. The colors, the way the colors match and everything, like it looks really good. Just the same issue with, you can't really export it and change it about or anything like that. But you know, this is thing. And just a tip, you do need the paid version of ChatGPT to get the image generation. So okay, this is a good example of where it kind of goes wayward. So I've asked it for Webcrafter Studio, and it's got confused and it's tried to create a studio type thing. Just another example of how it kind of glitches with the text. But it has tried to create like a studio type thing. You'll see like the pens and it's like a desk type thing, and that's trying to illustrate the studio. We don't really want it to do that. But again, if we were actually feeding it the right inputs, you can see what it is, you know, the potential of it is. And the more prompts you give it, the more information you give it on exactly how you want it, the better it will output. I do hope that ChatGPT does bring out a version where you can export it as PSD or an AI file. Because, you know, if you're creating a logo and you want to maybe get it printed and clothing and stuff, you can't send somebody a PNG. It needs to be something that won't become pixelated whenever it is stretched out. So it is the only limitation of it. So we've looked at image generation and these types of tools and creating their logos within these tools. We still have our full branding. We still have it, let's just pretend we have a good idea of what we want our logo to look like. Or let's just say we're going to use this logo. We're like, yep, let's just use this one. Let's not worry about even going and getting somebody else to do it for me. What's next? So we want to be able to put this logo onto social aspects, and you want to put it onto the likes of banners and thing. How do we do that? We simply use Canva. So Canva is, I think, one of the best design AI tools, design tools. Its AI is coming through, definitely. It's not quite there yet, but I do think that in terms of, getting like things like content on banners, etc., I think AI will become a very good feature of Canva eventually. They do have this magic, so their Magic Studio is their AI tool, and it has a few features within it, and we're just going to go over those features right now. So what we can do is we can go in here and create any of the social graphics that we need. So we're going to use a YouTube banner as an example. So if you type in YouTube banner here, it's as simple as clicking in here and going to it, and you can choose a template from that, like this. Go in here, choose templates, and these are already preloaded with correct sizes and dimensions and stuff like that. Like I mentioned earlier on, always be careful with the mobile version. So this one might cut off, or this one might cut off. So always just be careful that it's within the correct dimensions for mobile and desktop, because we don't want the 92% of people to be going on and not being able to see any of the graphics. So this is not really utilizing the AI tool. So what we want to do is we want to try and describe a design for us. So we want a YouTube banner for web design, like this. And you'll see, so this is where I think that it's not quite there yet, but you can see you're looking for the search icon with the 2 stars that represents its AI tool. And the prompt that it actually has, that is picked up here, is design a YouTube banner to promote a job hunting webinar. So again, applicable, this is a webinar. So this is kind of, we'll just use this as an example. It's not really taking in the web design aspect of it, but this is only to show you what is possible of it at this minute in time. So if we click in here, you'll see this magic design comes up at the top, and this is it generating AI tool, or AI, it's generating designs based on the AI. So you'll see it's kind of putting these together. So I don't think these are bad at all. These look fine. They would probably do the job if you're kind of trying to promote a job. But I wouldn't be reliant on these creating, the finished product for you. There's not really anything that we've looked at today that can create the finished product. And that's why I said that you always kind of need that human touch when it comes to design. As much as AI can do a good bit of it and give you good ideas, you need to put that all together using your own kind of creativity. So you can simply click into these and you can customize the template like this. So as much as it's been AI generated, this is basically what 10web would let us do with the website, but obviously I have the paid version of Canva. And again, just to make you aware that the paid version is the only, so you have to have the paid version to use any of the AI tools within Canva. So if they ever do become very useful, I do think they're useful. I just think that there's a lot of limitations on them. But if they ever do become really, really, really good, it's going to be way worth getting the paid version than the free version. So the kind of tools we have in here for in relation to AI. So this is, I think, the best feature of it. Say this is saying unlock the secrets to landing your dream job. Say you don't like that. You're like, no, don't like that. Don't like the way it's worded that. Don't like anything about it. We can click on it like that and hit magic write, and there's a few different options. So you can continue writing, so that will add to it. Summarize, which will reduce it. You can get it to rewrite it. You can get it to sound more fun, more formal, or sprinkle some fairy dust, which is basically just spice it up. So what we'll do is we'll get it to rewrite it for us. So discover the secrets to securing your ideal job. Again, I don't think that makes much sense, so we'll just keep hitting rewrite it. Unlocking the key to obtaining your dream. Yep, so this one sounds okay. I think this one sounds good, but it's just maybe a little bit, too informal. So we'll make it more formal. And you'll see it has now made it, quite professional, daunting task, but it's achievable. The words like achievable, things like that. So it's making it sound a lot more formal. And I think for the likes of creating flyers, so you can create documents within Canva, anything like that. You can definitely utilize this magic right. There's no limitations on the amount of text that's in it or anything like that. Obviously, you could use the likes of Chat GPT and copy and paste it back and forth. But just for ease of use, it's nice to have something built into the likes of Canva that is very good at design. So I think that it's one of the best features about it. I don't think the actual generation of the images or the designs is the best, but I do think that the kind of the content writing ability within it is very, very, very good. So just to keep an eye for. And then the last thing within Canva that I think is good, I mean, this is technically an AI, kind of an AI thing, but it is the magic switch, which is the resizing of the document. So this is created as a YouTube banner, but maybe we don't want this to be a YouTube banner. Maybe we want this to be a Facebook banner, which are quite different in size. Instead of us going and creating another document and having to resize it and all that, this will do it for us. So you'll see here, you can just type in Facebook and we'll do Facebook cover. So it's called Facebook cover. Always just be aware, it's not all of them are called banners, some of them are called covers and stuff like that. But if you type in Facebook cover and hit continue, you can select multiple and just hit continue. You'll see it'll show you a preview, which you can see it looks pretty much exactly the same. And you can either resize this one or you can copy and resize to another one. So we're going to copy and resize like this and open it up. So these are, as much as they don't look it, these are actually two completely different sizes, and we didn't have to change a single thing to do with them. It's kept them consistent, and you can do that with absolutely anything within the resizing ability. It's kind of limitless when it comes to that. You can also translate your design or any of the content into a different language as well, which can be very good. Or you can simply just go into custom size if you want to resize it to something completely custom, which again would be absolutely no problem. So say we wanted this to be a square image more than a kind of landscape, we could just do 1,000 by 1,000 like this. You'll see it's give us the thing. So it's readjusted the text. It has adjusted the image. There is the top and the bottom now because we've added in a lot more real estate, top and bottom, and cut off real estate left and right. So what we can do is we'll resize this one. And if you were doing something like this, you would check and see how this image is going to look on whatever social platform you're going to put it on, and just make sure that it looks good. So definitely useful, definitely very useful piece of kit within Canva. So we'll just go back to our slides and we'll have a look at some of the ethical considerations in AI-driven web design. So just always, ensure. I think the biggest thing I've ever noticed from any of the AI tools that I've made is just making sure that the copyright laws that is within the AI tools, so you can use them and you can use them to sell stuff on. Just always make sure that you read into those, especially with the likes of Canva and things like that. The free version doesn't have half as much license kind of flexibility as the pro version. So just always make sure with that. Ensuring user data is handled responsibly. So again, if you're pasting a company's information, maybe somebody's personal information into an image generation tool or anything like that, you want to make sure that it's handled in a smart way, and ensuring that it's authentic. I think AI, you can kind of see it is very, very tailored to exactly what you put, with the exception of maybe 10Web. The 10Web maybe most of the layouts are going to be generically the same, but it does give you that base and gives you that base layout, so you can go in and change whatever you need to change within it. So just a few things to look out for within using AI within web design. I think it's definitely one of those. It's very exciting for the future. I think that it will become so good that it will reduce a lot of people's jobs and responsibilities. But as I said before, there will be always need that human touch within design. Just for it's just that type of feel that takes that little bit of creativity, especially within the likes of logos and stuff like that. Sometimes AI doesn't quite get exactly what you're trying to create, so it's good to have, but don't rely on it completely. If you have any questions about anything that I went over in this webinar, I would be happy to answer any of your questions right now. Thank you so much for listening.